meeting, I would like to give my evaluation, my overall evaluation for how we've done this evening. I want to start by just talking about some things I observed before the meeting. So for example, we started on time. We greeted our new members. In fact, our vice president of membership was at the back of the room to greet our visitors. I'm sorry, I said new members, to greet our visitors. And people spoke to our visitors, which is excellent. We always want to give our visitors a sense that they're welcome and that we're happy to have them here. We started on time, and even though our regular sergeant at arms was not here, we took care of all of that. We put the banner up. We made sure that we had enough chairs in the room. So we did the things that the sergeant of arms would have done had he been here. We stepped in and we made sure all of those things were done, and that was excellent. I want to comment also on the table topics. Table topics master and table topics mistress, I want to thank you. You did an outstanding job. I loved your questions. Your questions were challenging, particularly the first one, which is addressed the kind of thing we all think about a great deal. The second one was something that we've all been exposed to in pop culture, but there we are, so you gave us some things to think about, which were excellent. And the only things I would say to you, when you come to the podium, be sure that you speak up. I felt sometimes you're almost talking to your phone rather than to us. So address the person all the way in the back of the room and really give us some volume. So own the questions. Speak up, own the questions. Also be sure to repeat them. Say them and say them a second time. That first one was complicated. So say it, and when nobody jumps up right away, repeat it. So that people who didn't get it all will hear it a second time, and they will maybe have an answer that they didn't have before. But great job. Always have lots of them, though. As it turned out, we have plenty of time today. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Madam Toastmaster, outstanding job. This was your first time doing it. We would not have known, except you told us, or we know you and we know you're still relatively new in the club, but certainly a visitor would not have known you had never done this before. You were pleasant, you were upbeat, you were positive, you listened to the speakers, you had very interesting things to say in between each speech, so you wove every speech and speaker together in a way that made it entertaining and enjoyable to be here. So I think you did a fabulous job, and I particularly like how you listened to the speeches and commented, said something about what people were talking about, which really is an excellent skill to have in a Toastmaster. The reports, timer, our counter, actually we haven't done those yet. Have I done this? Have I jumped ahead and I haven't gotten my reports? I certainly have. Well, I'm sure you're going to do an excellent job. I'm sure you're going to do an outstanding job. I'm so anxious to do my report that I haven't listened to your report, but we will get your reports in just a minute. The other thing that I want to do is remind us about our etiquette, our lectern etiquette. So I want to point out a couple of different things. Last week when Leonard was our Toastmaster, he encouraged us all to come through this door, and there's a reason why. We should always approach the Toastmaster from the Toastmaster's right. So that means if we come through that door, that works well. The other reason coming through that door works is it keeps us from stumbling over people's feet and pushing chairs out the way when our name is called. So it's a really good idea to use this, to stand up and come around and come through this door so you make a really strong entrance. Ideally, we should leave by going out this way to the Toastmaster's left. We can't do that in this room as well, but it will certainly, someday when we're in a bigger room again, we'll be able to do that. So pay attention to this. Also pay attention to how you address the person who introduced you. It is a really strong ending to address the person who introduced you. So instead of just ending by saying thank you and sitting down, speak to the person who introduced you. Madam Toastmaster, those are your final words, and then you sit down. Or Madam General Evaluator, or Mr. Table Topics Master, or Madam Table Topics Master. So end whatever your speech, whether it's a table topic speech, whatever it is you're doing, end it with the words, address the person. Those of you who are going to be in the contest, your address will be Mr. Contest Master or Madam Contest Master. That's how you will address that person. We did a great job. All except me. I just left out my presentation. So at this time, I would like to get the reports of the people who are in my team. I'll start with the timers report.
Okay, everybody did a great job tonight. For your table topics, David Nakimkin for the communication conflict topic. His time was 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Mr. Roback, right, Tacoma, For his topic with Talk with Miley Cyrus, he did a nice and brisk 46 seconds. For the speeches, for Burgess Smith's speech, Skid Steer, which is his first project out of the Competent Communicator Manual. His goal time was 4 to 6 minutes. He topped out at 5 minutes and 27 seconds. Miss Lei Wang, title speech, What Does She Mean?, which is her fourth speech out of the CC Manual. Goal time was 5 to 7 minutes. Your time was 6 minutes, 8 seconds. Mr. Nkemkin, speech on experiencing oneness, a non-manual speech, advanced speech. Goal time was 5 to 7 minutes. You topped out at 7 minutes and 34 seconds. For our evaluations, Alan Davis evaluated Mr. Burgess Smith. Goal time was 2 to 3 minutes. Actual time was 2 minutes, 18 seconds. David Nkemkin evaluated Lei Wang. Goal time was 2 to 3 minutes. His actual time was 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Miss Cherie Knight evaluated Mr. David Nkemkin. Goal time for an advanced speech, evaluation on advanced speech was 3 to 4 minutes. She topped out at 2 minutes, 26 seconds. And Madam Evaluator, Junior Evaluator speech was, goal time was 3 to 4 minutes, and she completed it in 4 minutes and 26 seconds.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Time. At this time, I'll take the report from our counter.
Yes, there were very few counts this evening, which is a testament to how well everyone speaks and how strong communication skills you have. But I did count for David 4 ayes, Deanna 1, Sandra 0, Ruben 0, Trinice 1 that I just did, Takuma 2, Leonard Henley, I have 2.
I didn't speak.
I must have actually, it's, I'm sorry. That would be
When you're supposed to tell what you're supposed to
Christina
do.
Armstrong. Burgess Smith, I have 5. Lei Wang, 4. And I did not evaluate the evaluators.
I'll take that back. I
You'll
did. I did.
All right, good. Thank you very much, Madam
Must have I
Counter.
remember.
And finally, Mr. Grammarian. We will take your report this time.
I think the theme for tonight was very descriptive presentations, and when you're writing descriptively, there's a premium on presenting coherent images, and I think people did a really good job of that. There are a couple of instances where maybe the images didn't come across as clear because of some usage things. In the table topics, Mr. Nkemkin, which was great, and it's impromptu. There were just some contradictory ideas when you were talking about setting a space of support. I felt like you meant setting a personal boundary instead of support, but maybe that's my interpretation. When I spoke about Miley Cyrus, this is my critique of myself. I should have said, if I was her father, I would have applied the belt. That didn't come across very clear there, so my bad there. And I really enjoyed Mr. Smith's Skid Steer story because it was very literary and it was visual and it was had a quietness about it that I really enjoyed. It was like I wanted to put on a corduroy sports jacket, apple cider, just like really take it in. It's awesome. And there was only like one thing where I was a little bit confused when you were talking about the skid steer itself, the bucket on front, maybe bucket up front. And Miss Lei Wang, hilarious. Let's see. There was a couple of expressions, like there were 2 things that stood out. Usually when we, like the term, it's really for the love of God. Would you please, whatever. But that's how the expression would usually go. And let's see here. I'm doing a lot of, sorry. I'm wrapping up. Yes. Wow. I'm not saying every girl applies to this rule, probably the other way around. I'm not saying this rule applies to every girl. Probably be a little bit more clear. And Mr. Nikimkin, again, it was a wonderful, very evocative presentation. I felt there was a little bit of an interruption when you were talking about the waterfall and crashing against the rocks. You know, I know that I wanted to see the waterfall crash against the rocks just a little bit, but I mean, it was awesome. And that's it. Sorry for the long-winded presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would say don't apologize. I mean, that's wonderful to have such a strong grammarian report. In fact, all of my team did a fabulous job. I want to conclude by saying great speeches, great evaluations, great reports, great meeting. At this time, I'd like to turn it back over to Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ms. Washington and her team, and thank you all for coming again tonight. I've truly enjoyed myself as your Toastmaster. I'm sure this would not be my first time. I've learned a lot, and it definitely makes you think about things a little bit better and clearer when you are in the role of Toastmaster. It stretches you, as Alan Davis had told us tonight. So thank you all for coming, our guests. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And thank you all again, and good luck to all who will be competing on Saturday. And turn it over to our president.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And Toastmasters and guests, a great meeting, even with all the moving around things and people canceling out and people taking on another role and so on. It all worked out real well. We're doing really well in terms of time. A few announcements. Well, first up, before the announcement, I want everybody to give another round of applause to two people who especially did like a first time, like the icebreaker for Burgess. And for Deanna being the Toastmaster. The announcements, one of the things is, in terms of dues, if you have not paid your dues, here's Dawn, are you able to take people's dues? So,
If you need me to.
huh?
If you need me to, yes.
Okay, because I would hate to have somebody ready to pay their dues and have to wait or something like that. So if that's possible, if you need to pay, if you haven't done it, pay your dues, you can, after the meeting, you can see Dawn. The picnic, there's a sign-up sheet out there, on the table there. I've sent out things, a number of things about the picnic. Please sign up, first of all, that you're coming, and also a suggestion in terms of what you might bring as far as potluck. I mean, you're not required, but I like, we want a variety of things and so on like this. So sign up so that I can communicate that with Summer in terms of what's going on. I mean, it's not a complicated thing, it's pretty informal. We knew a little bit of organization and planning is a little bit necessary here, so that it comes off well. Yes?
The date of the picnic?
It is Sunday, September 29th.
Okay.
Yep. September 29th, and a Sunday in the afternoon. And it will be where we did last time. Most of you know, but some of you don't know, we're at Harper Memorial Library. We used to be meeting on 1116 East 59th Street. Across the street, just south of there, there's a green area, there's a big statue. We're going to be near the statue, just to the west of that. There's a clearing area, a set of tables and chairs and so on. That's what we're gonna be. And we're within earshot of a couple of stages for the Hyde Park Jazz Festival going on at the same time. That's why we chose it, so we get some jazz while we're talking and having a lot of fun. So it was a lot of fun. I'm sure the people there would attest it was a lot of fun. So there's a sign-up sheet there. And the last thing is, and this has been talked about before, you might not be in the area contest. You might not be participating in a contest role, but come out in force to support Alan and to support Lee. I have about 10 flyers. If you're serious about them, come and take a flyer. It has all the information, where it is, what time. So please take one. I don't have one for everybody, but I have some out there to take. The last thing I want to do is I want to come back to our 2 visitors. Oh, yes. Let's do that before we do the visitors. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. It's always good to have team members remind you of things like this. So I'm going to call up our Vice President of Education.
Berta Smith, would you step to the podium, please, and join me at the lectern? I'm sorry, would you join me at the lectern?
You can go that way.
You can go around this way. Good. Good, thank you. You can stand right here. All right. One of the things you'll notice about Toastmasters is we earn ribbons for things. So the club earns ribbons. These ribbons represent our awards. In addition, individuals get ribbons. And at this time, I would like to present you with a ribbon because you have earned, or you have surpassed the first big hurdle of being a member. You have completed your icebreaker. And I would like to award you with your first ribbon, your icebreaker ribbon. Congratulations. And the only other thing I want to say, somewhere over here there is a clipboard to sign up for meeting roles. It's somewhere there under Jesse's elbow. There is a clipboard to sign up for meeting roles, so please feel free, if you know what you want to do for next meeting, the October 1st meeting, you may put your name in the appropriate slot on the clipboard. All right, and I think that's all I need to say at this point. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. VP of Education.
Yes.
The last thing now I'm going to do, I'd like to have our guests to give like their sort of like reaction, evaluation and things of the meeting, what it was for them and so on like this, how we liked the meeting and whatever you want to say.
Starting?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I really enjoyed this. It was structured, which is what I like. It was, there's discipline there.
Mhm.
I like that it was welcoming and inviting. I feel that I wouldn't be intimidated, and that's huge. Normally, when you said guest and you pointed to me, I would have freaked out, and I didn't freak out. So, appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Upon entering, I felt a sense of welcoming, a welcoming type bond. I was welcomed by a couple of people. As far as the presentations I felt were really on point and funny. The structure of the format and schedule, you all stick to the schedule, and I look forward to coming to another meeting.
Thank you. I would encourage both of you to see Dawn back there about joining, and she can tell you the whole thing about what it takes to join and everything. Not very difficult to join. Unless there's anybody who has anything more to say, we're adjourned.
Great job.
celebrate my Saturday. I'll be there cheering. Absolutely. Great job, great job, great job.
You want to write something for her to hold on to?
Well, some of it is when I wrote down that I had a lot of stuff at the start. I still wanted to actually.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is right now you want to look for your manual first.
Yes,
All
yes.
right, well, would you write what's going to go in the manual on a separate piece of paper?
Well, I'm not sure what
I have an extra manual that I want to let you use, but we don't want to, if she thinks she has it, that's what I'm saying, we don't want to give it to
All
her.
right, I'll do that.
You know,
I'll be talking with.
sorry.
Okay, we're done.